So it is undeniable that Sunderland FC are one of the biggest clubs in English football, but the Black Cats have found success very, very hard to come by in recent times. They have not won a major trophy since 1973 when they famously beat Leeds United 1-0 in the FA Cup final. Sunderland currently sit 9th in the Championship table, but Terry feels that Tony Mowbray is not the man to take Sunderland to the back to the Premier League, and I kind of agree with him. Tony Mowbray's out, we're in, and we're going to win a Champions League with Sunderland. Remember, if you want to see a club rebuilt, let me know in the comment section down below and I will get round to rebuilding that club. So this is the Sunderland team of loaded into, lads, and do you know what? I am very, very excited. This squad is stacked with high potential young players. I wasn't lying when I said Sunderland have a young squad. Just look at the average age of this squad. There is so much room for development in the current players that we have. We only have 2 players over 30-year-old at the club. There is so much potential in this squad. I'm so excited to use it. However, we're not going to be using the 4-1-4-1 formation. We're going to be changing to a 4-3-3 attack. Now, after switching to a 4-3-3 attack, lads, my mouth is watering at the prospect of using this team. I think it looks so good on paper. Now, I'm obviously aware that the squad is lacking a striker and a centre attacking midfielder, but I'm going to give Joe Bellingham and Mason Burstow the opportunity to grow this season and prove they've got what it takes to be Sunderland players. But as of right now, we are stuck with what we've got, lads, because we cannot make any signings till January because the first transfer window in these rebuilds is always disabled. And when we arrive in January, lads, we've got £8 million to improve our squad. So because we've got a squad that is so young and so full of energy, we are going to play with a Gengham pressing system. This is because I want to put teams on the back foot, get in the faces, win the ball back high, and really use our youth to our advantage. So we've sorted the starting lineup, we've started the tactical vision, lads. We've got nothing left to do but simulate forward to January the 1st and hope that we've made a great start to the Championship season. So we've arrived at January the 1st, lads, and do you know what? I am so disappointed with how we're performing. We are currently 15th in the Championship. We have made a terrible start to our life as Sunderland manager. And do you know what, lads? We are looking over our shoulder a bit because we're only 9 points off the relegation zone as well. We need to buck up. Now, looking at the squad, lads, we can see Anthony Patterson is currently injured now. I think that is a big reason as to why we are underperforming this season. And do you know what, lads? Look at the squad, though. We should have been so much better. We've got some of the best players in the Championship playing for us, like Jack Clark, Dan Neil, and Dan Ballard. Thankfully, though, lads, we're in January. We can make the necessary improvements to the squad. So we have made our first signing of this Sunderland rebuild, lads. And you know what? It's not a world beater, but we've stuck to Sunderland's model of having very good, young, talented players at the club. He's 18 years old, he's a striker, and he joins us from the Bundesliga. We have signed Nelson Wiper from Mainz for £4 million. So Wiper is 18 years old, lads, and 69 rated, and he's going to go straight into our starting 11 as our first choice striker. Now, we're still left with £5 million of our transfer budget after bringing in Wiper, and do you know what, lads? Looking at the squad, I don't actually think it's terrible, and do you know what? I'm going to save that £5 million for next season. I'm going to let these lads try and get us into the playoffs. Now, there were some outgoings, lads, and I'm going to run you through them right now. Alex Pritchard, who's been an excellent servant to Sunderland, has left the club to join FC24 when his contract expires at the end of the season. Mason Burstow has joined Millwall on loan for 2 seasons. Jewison Benete has joined Boca Juniors on loan till the end of the season. Nectarios Triantis has joined Rangers on loan till the end of the season. And Luis Semedo has joined CAS UPN on loan till the end of the season as well. So now the transfer window's done, lads. We're going to be simulating forward to the end of the season, and I hope we've managed to crawl back into the top half at least. So we have reached the end of season 1, lads, and we pulled off an absolute miracle. We went from 14th place to 5th place, lads. We managed to make the playoffs. We have got a golden chance to get to the Premier League here. So, lads, it is time for the moment of truth. Were we promoted to the Premier League? Oh my god, we were, lads. We drew with Preston 2-2 in the final, but went on to beat them 2-0 on penalties. And we absolutely thumped Southampton in the semi-finals 7-1 on aggregate. And Sunderland are going to be playing Premier League football next season. So this is the Sunderland team that has got us promoted to the Premier League. And do you know what, lads? I'm looking at it thinking maybe one more season in the Championship wouldn't have done us a lot of harm. There's definitely some good players in there like Jack Clark, Dan Neil and Dan Ballard, Anthony Patterson as well. But there's a lot of players there just 70 rated, even Bellingham at 69 rated. We definitely need to add some quality to that team, and I'm thinking we need a new centre-back to replace O'Neill, a centre midfielder to replace Ekwa, and a right winger to replace Patrick Roberts. In terms of stats, lads, Jack Clark was our best player by far this season, growing by 6 overalls, and he got 23 goals and 7 assists in 55 games. And can we just talk about Nelson Wiper? We signed him in January for £4 million. He scored 20 goals in 18 games. He fired us to promotion. We were knocked out of the FA Cup in round 5 by Rotherham United. They beat us 2-1. We were knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Arsenal, who beat us 3-2 in round 4. Now, we've arrived in season 2, lads, and we have got 52 £100 million to improve our squad. So lads, we have made our first signing of season 2 and this player needs no introduction. Sunderland fans, you are going to love this one. We have brought Amad Diallo back to the Stadium of Light for £12.6 million and he's joining us from Borussia Dortmund. He's 75 rated and 21-year-old, a legend at Sunderland. He's straight into the starting 11, boys. And just to let you know, lads, Bradley Dack has joined FC Copenhagen on the expiry of his contract. Now, as you know, the squad is pretty under-equipped for the Premier League, so we've had to sell some players to raise some funds to bring in the necessary players to keep us in the Premier League. And to be honest with you, Sunderland fans, you're probably not going to like some of these sales, so now's the time to look away. Abdullah Bar has joined Getafe on a 2-year loan. Adil Auchi has joined Crystal Palace for 6.9 million. Niall Huggins has joined Atalanta United for 1 million. Nectarios Triantis has joined PSV on a season-long loan. Alex Bass has joined Alanyaspor for 670,000. Nazir Ruzin has joined Victoria SC for 1.5 million. And fan favourite Elliot Embleton has joined Al Shabab for 1.65 million. Now, lads, our second signing of the summer transfer window is a very, very promising young centre-back who's come through Manchester City's academy. He had moved to the French League, but we have brought him back to England and he is joining Sunderland. We have brought in Callum Doyle from OGC Nice for £6.5 million. Now, we have got an excellent deal for Doyle. He's 20-year-old and 73 rated, lads, and he will go straight into our starting 11. And we have had 2 more players leave the club, lads. Jensen Selt has joined Casper Pia for £950,000 and Joe Anderson has joined Verdun Sport FC for £770,000, meaning after the signings of Doyle and Diallo we are left with £41 million of our transfer budget, so we could actually bring in a very big name of that money. So lads, we have made our third and final signing of the summer transfer window and it is one of the highest potential centre midfielders in the entire game. We have signed Alex Scott from Bournemouth for £11.2 million. Alex Scott is 21 years old and 75 rated, lads, and he goes straight into our starting 11, meaning this will be the Sunderland team that takes us to January the 1st. And I know it's not the best looking on paper, lads, but there's so many brilliant young players in that squad who can grow to like maybe high 80s in overall. So I'm keeping a bit of faith with this team and I just hope they're outside the relegation zone come January the 1st. And we've actually still got £33 million of our transfer budget remaining. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Scott, why have you just not spent that money and brought some brilliant players in? I'm going to save that money for January the 1st. I'm going to give all our young players an opportunity to grow and develop in the Premier League. And if we get to January and we're like 20th or 19th and 10 points away from survival, we'll use this £33 million to bring in some star players who might actually keep us up. So we have arrived at January the 1st, lads, and we sit just 2 points outside of the relegation zone in 17th position. Do you know what, lads? I'm actually really, really happy with that start to the season. We're not in the relegation zone. We've actually won 5 games out of 18 with a very, very young and developing squad. I think that's actually a good achievement. Now, I'm just hoping in the second half of the season we can actually press on and just stay up in the Premier League. Looking at the squad, lads, we've had some great growth from Amad Diallo and Jack Clark. They are looking excellent so far this season. Dan Ballard and Alex Scott have had good growth as well, and so has Anthony Patterson. Now, knowing that we've got £30 million to play with, lads, I'm looking at the left-back position. Dennis Sirkin has only grown 3 overalls in the last 18 months, and I'm thinking, with £30 million, can we bring in a much, much better left-back than Sirkin, which might help us shore up the defence to concede less goals? Lads, we have used the entirety of our transfer budget in this January window to bring in an absolutely outstanding left-back from the Spanish League. We have signed Miguel Gutierrez from Girona for £27 million. Gutierrez is 23 years old and 80 rated, lads, and he's a massive improvement in our left back position. And the addition of Gutierrez definitely makes our defence look much, much more solid on paper, lads. So that's our transfer window done, lads. Let's simulate forward now to the end of the season and hopefully we have stayed in the Premier League. So we've reached the end of the season, lads, and as you can see, we have stayed up in the Premier League, finishing 12 points above 18th place Bournemouth. We secured ourselves a 14th place finish, which I'm really, really happy about. So that's survival achieved. Now let's start focusing on building towards a mid-table finish. Looking at that starting 11, lads, I think we've done really, really well to stay up this season. We've trusted the youth and it has paid off big time. Squad is actually going really, really nicely. I think going into next season, though, it is time to start adding some proper quality to this squad, and I'm thinking, do we bring in a star centre attacking midfielder to replace Bellingham? Now, our star performer this season was Amad Diallo on his return to Sunderland, getting 14 goals and 5 assists. Jack Clark got 12 and 4, then it really does drop off from there, lads, with Nelson Wiper getting 9 and 3. Now, we had an excellent FA Cup run, lads. We got to the quarterfinals where we were knocked out by Arsenal 4-0, and we were embarrassingly knocked out in round 2 of the Carabao Cup by Fulham 2-0. So going into season 3, lads, we want to cement ourselves as a mid-table side whilst also adding some star quality to our starting 11. So we've arrived in season 3, lads, and we have got £45 million to improve our squad. And I've been having a long hard think, lads, and while I really, really like Joe Bellingham, he is 74 rated in the Premier League. That is just not good enough. I'm going to retrain his position to a centre midfielder, and I'm going to bring in a very, very high potential centre midfielder midfielder. And this next signing is a subscriber suggestion. So if you want to see me bring a player in that you like in EAFC, let me know in the comment section down below and I will bring them into a future rebuild. And lads, we have wasted no time in making our first signing of season 3. We have signed Arthur Vermeeren from Royal Antwerp for £28 million. Vermeeren is 20 years old and 80 rated, lads, and he goes straight into our starting 11. And I just want to thank KK49 for his suggestion to sign Vermeeren. And the signing of Vermeeren has seen us change our formation from a 4-3-3 attack to a 4-3-3 defence. So we're dropping Bellingham down to the bench to be an impact sub, and now the midfield three looks like this: Neil, Vermeeren, Scott. Much more solid, and we should concede less goals this season with a CDM. Now the signing of Vermeeren leaves us with just £14 million of our transfer budget, and there's not really a lot I can do with that, lads. Saying that, lads, we've got some very key players that are contracted to the end of the season, like Dan Neil and Jack Clark. We're going to have to renew these contracts, lads, and that's going to use up a lot of our money. And after renewing all those contracts, lads, we are left with just £5 million of our transfer budget, lads, so I really can't see anyone else signing for us this summer. So that is the end of our transfer window, lads. We only had one incoming in Vermeeren and we had no outgoings. We're now simulating forward to January the 1st, and I'm hoping to see Sunderland start mid-table in the Premier League. So we've arrived at January the 1st, lads, and we are currently sitting 4th in the Premier League table. This game is absolutely crazy, lads. 4th in the Premier League table, but it's only 7 points separate 4th from 11th, so it is incredibly tight in the top half of the table. So this is how the starting 11 is looking, lads, and just look at Jack Clark, 87 rated. That is an absolute joke. Diallo's grown to 83, Vermeeren's grown by 3 to 82, Patterson's now 81 as well. All in all, lads, I'm really happy with the growth of the squad. Now we do have £15 million remaining to improve our squad, but lads, don't think £15 million is going to bring in a first team quality player, so we're going to be saving that for next season. We've got 2 outgoings to bring you up to date with as well, lads. Dennis Sirkin has joined Leicester City for £4.5 million, and Jewison Benetti has left the club on loan. He has gone to Brentford till the end of the season. Now I can't see there being any more transfer movement in this transfer window, lads, but if there is, I'll bring you back and let you know. If not, we're simulating forward to the end of the season. So we've arrived at end of season 3, lads, and we finished 7th in the Premier League, narrowly missing out on European football. Liverpool, Aston Villa and Spurs all finished on 71 points. It was immensely tight at the top of the Premier League, but I'm very happy with a top half finish, and hopefully we can build on that next season and push for European football. So this is how the starting 11 is looking at the end of the season, lads, and as you can see, Clark and Diallo are by far our 2 best players. Our midfield 3 saw very good growth. Scott, Vermeeren and Neil all clearing 80 comfortably. Going forward into next season, I'm thinking I want to bring in a new centre-back to replace Doyle, and I'm also thinking about replacing Pembele, as he's still 79 rated and has now got a long-term injury as well. Now our standout player this season was Amad Diallo, getting 33 goals and 6 assists in 47 games. What an amazing season Diallo had. Jack Clark had a good season as well, getting 23 goals and 12 assists. And Nelson Wiper added 19 goals and 2 assists to his tally. Now, we did actually manage to reach an FA Cup final, but we were absolutely thumped by Liverpool 4-1. And we were knocked out in round 4 of the Carabao Cup by Crystal Palace. Now, going into season 4, lads, we have got 1 goal, European football. So, lads, we're starting off this transfer window with not an incoming, a massive outgoing. Alex Scott handed in a transfer request last season. He had poor morale throughout the entire season. He was stinking up the squad, to be honest. And Villarreal come in with an £88.3 million offer that we just could not refuse, lads. We've accepted it. He's left the club, meaning we have now got a transfer budget of £151 million. So in this transfer window, we want a centre-back, a right-back and a centre midfielder. And we have got straight to work, lads, spending that £151 million. We brought in a centre-back from the Premier League, and this is an outstanding signing. We have signed Goncalo Inacio from Arsenal for £50 million. Inacio is 24 years old, so he fits our recruitment model on a 4-year deal, 85 grand a week, 84 rated. The guy's incredible, and he goes straight into our starting 11. So we have wasted no time in bringing in Alex Scott's replacement, and we have raided the Spanish league for him. We have signed Pablo Barrios from Atletico Madrid for £47 million. Now Barrios is 83 rated, 23 years old, so he fits our recruitment model, and he is going straight into our starting 11. Now after the signings of Inacio and Barrios, we are left with £40 million to bring in a right back. And for our third and final signing of the summer transfer window, lads, we have brought in one of the best young right backs in the entire game, and he joins us once again from La Liga. We have signed Malo Gusto from Real Madrid for £47.5 million. Gusto is 23 years old, 83 rated on a 5-year deal, and he's straight into our starting 11. And with that being our final signing of the summer transfer window, lads, this is how the starting 11 is looking going into season 4, and oh my god, lads, that team is absolutely incredible on paper. And we are left with £3 million after our summer dealings, so there's probably going to be no more incomings this season. So now that the transfer window's done, lads, we're going to be simulating forward to January the 1st, and I hope we're challenging for European football. So we did have a few further outgoings, lads, and I'm going to run you through them right now. Ajibol Alesse joined Cremonese for £2.35 million. Patrick Roberts joined Stuttgart on loan. Mason Edison Burstow joined Fenerbahce on loan, and Jay Matete left the club for Norwich City for 1.75 million. And finally, Tri Hume joined Fulham for 10.2 million pounds, finishing off our transfer window. So for out of January the 1st, lads, and we once again find ourselves 4th place in the Premier League, 2 points clear of 5th placed Arsenal. Now, last season we bottled the Champions League, but this season I don't think we will. The squad is much better this time around. So if we keep performing to the levels that we are right now, we'll get European football next season. Look at the team, lads, and we have had an unfortunate injury to Inacio, which has probably been a bit of a dark cloud over a great start to the season, but the rest of the squad is growing very nicely. Clark, Wiper and Diallo have all grown massively. Now, we only have 11 million pounds of our transfer budget remaining, lads, so we won't be bringing anyone in this transfer window, and I'm not really looking to sell anyone either, so we're going to be simulating forward now to the end of the season, and I'm just hoping we're going to be in European football next year. So we've arrived at the end of the season 4, lads, and as you can see, we have qualified for the Champions League, finishing in 2nd place, just 4 points behind tabletop in Arsenal. And lads, we managed to win Sunderland's first major trophy since 1973, beating Manchester City 3-2 in the FA Cup final, but we couldn't replicate that form in the Carabao Cup, lads. We were knocked out in the 3rd round by Aston Villa. Looking at the starting 11, lads, Amad Diallo becomes the first Sunderland player to reach 90 rated. Clark reached 89 rated, and Wiper and Vermeeren both reached 88. The rest of the squad is looking really strong as well. So in terms of stats, lads, our best player was Nelson Wiper, getting 31 goals and 6 assists. He also grew by 6 overalls this season to 88, so he's been absolutely immense. Amad Diallo got 18 goals, 6 assists. Jack Clark had an amazing season, getting 16 goals and 19 assists, and Dan Neil got 12 and 10. So let's get into season 5, lads, and see how Sunderland get on in the Champions League. So as you may be noticing, lads, the colour of my t-shirt is constantly changing, the length of my hair is constantly changing, the background's changing. That is because one of these videos takes up most of my week to make. So if you enjoy this content, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, because it really does help me out. Now, we've arrived in season 5, lads, and we have got a whopping 150 million pounds to improve Sunderland. Now, looking at the starting 11, lads, it is staring you right in the face where we need to improve this squad. We need to improve Callum Doyle's position at centre-back, and we need to improve the goalkeeper position, which would mean a massive Sunderland fan favourite, Anthony Patterson, would have to drop to the bench. We have made our first signing of the summer, lads, and let me tell you, this is an absolute steal. We have signed Giorgio Scalvini from Manchester United for just 29 million pounds. Scalvini is 82 rated and he signs on a 5-year deal, and he is actually 23, meaning he fits our recruitment process, and that transfer leaves us with 113 million pounds to bring in a goalkeeper. So lads, as you know, I said I wanted a new goalkeeper in this window, and as you know, we can only sign players under 24 years old in this career mode. Well, I have just brought in an 18-year-old sensation who is already world class. We have signed Kylian Beck from Barcelona for 58.5 million pounds. Beck is 18 years old and 85 rated. What a signing. Now, after the signings of Beck and Scalvini, lads, we still actually have 50 million pounds of our transfer budget remaining, but I'm going to save that till January, and if we need to improve the squad, then we'll use that 50 million pounds. So our season's got off to a fairly poor start, lads. We've been beaten in the Community Shield by Arsenal 2-0. Yeah, not the start we would have wanted that. So going into season 5, lads, this is how the starting 11 is looking on paper, and to be honest with you, lads, that team is absolutely outstanding, and I really believe with that squad we can give a really good account of ourselves in the Champions League. So our first ever Champions League group is in, lads, and do you know what? It's not even that bad. We've got Dortmund, Feyenoord and Anderlecht. We should be getting through that group. Now let's simulate forward to January the 1st and see how we're getting on this season. We're around January the 1st, lads, and as you can see, we are top of the Premier League, 5 points clear of arch rivals Newcastle United. We are having a stormer of a season so far this year. Lads, just feast your eyes on that team. That is one of the best teams we've had in any real blood we've done so far. We've now got Clark, Wiper, Diallo and Vermeeren all clearing 90 rated. Beck has grown by 3 to 88. Only issue I have is the back line are slightly lacking behind in overall, but Scalvini's already grown by 2. So on the run up to the January transfer window, lads, we did have some outgoings. I'm going to run you through them right now. Eliza Mayenda joined Bristol City for 1.45 million. Necatorius Triantis joined Southampton for 10 million. Patrick Roberts left for Alves for 2.6 million. And Nathan Bishop joined Adana Demirspor for 860k, meaning we have got 73 million pounds to spend in this January transfer window if we wish. And it's also worth mentioning, lads, Daniel Ballard's handing in a transfer request, and at 28 years old and 82 rated, I'm willing to sell him. And lads, we were absolutely unbelievable in the Champions League. We won every single game of our group stage, finishing on 18 points, and we will take on Lens in the round of 16, lads. So do you know what? I've got a really good chance to get into the quarterfinals here. And the last outgoing of this transfer window, lads, Dan Ballard has joined Nantes for 22.6 million. And lads, we have brought in Ballard's replacement, and it's an excellent young centre-back from a Premier League rival. We have signed Federicio Greco from Manchester United for 22 million pounds. Greco is 79 rated and 20 years old, lads, and is a very good backup. To reach the end of season 5, lads, and unfortunately we did not manage to win the Premier League. We lost out to Liverpool by just 1 point, finishing in 2nd place. And lads, we have gone back to back with the FA Cup. We beat Fulham 4-1 in the final, meaning we have won our 2nd domestic trophy of the rebuild. And we also got to the Carabao Cup semi-finals where we were beat by Chelsea 3-2 on aggregate. They went on to win the trophy. So we actually had a really good season this time round. And as you can see, lads, Manchester City won the Champions League, meaning we did not make the Champions League final. We didn't even make the semi-final. We were knocked out in the quarterfinals by PSG, who beat us on penalties. That is absolutely heartbreaking. And just look at that squad, lads. That honestly is such a good team. And now I'm looking at it thinking, where do I actually improve this squad next season? And do I actually want to improve this squad next season? Especially given the fact that we're signing players under 24-year-old. I don't think anyone under 24-year-old comes into this team and makes us a better side. So I'm thinking next season I might just sign players to improve our depth. Now in terms of stats, lads, Nelson Wiper grew by 6 overalls to 94 rated and scored 54 goals in 60 games. This guy must be the best striker on the planet right now. Going into season 6, lads, the objective is just literally win the Champions League. So we've arrived in season 6, lads, and Jesus Christ, we have got £217 million to improve our squad. We could probably sign anyone we wanted this season, but I really like the starting 11 that we've got, and I don't just want to go out there and spend £200 million on a player. So I'm going to use a small amount of that £200 million to bring in some backup players like a backup striker, and I'm going to give this starting 11 another chance and see how they do this time round, because I thought we got unlucky in the Champions League last year. We were beaten on penalties. So we have made our first signing of the summer, boys, and we have made an absolutely outrageous pickup in the striker position. We have signed Noel Pelletier for £75 million from PSG. Lads, he's 85 rated and 18 years old, and he will be our backup striker for this season. So we have got off to a great start to the season, lads. We have won the Community Shield, beating Liverpool 4-3 on penalties. That's our first bit of silverware of the season. After bringing in Pelletier, I'm actually really happy with the squad. I think the starting 11 looks really strong. Every single player we've developed ourselves, with the exception of a few players we've brought in like Ignacio and Scalvini. And going back to what I said before, I am actually going to give this team one more chance this season. I'm going to sign no one to replace anyone in the starting 11. But if we get to January and we're really struggling, we've got a monster transfer budget to bring someone in. So before we head off to January, lads, we've got the small matter of our Champions League group, and do you know what? It's a lot harder this time round. We've got Juventus, Benfica and Ajax. That is actually the group of death. So around January the 1st, lads, and just feast your eyes on that. Sunderland are top of the Premier League, and we have not lost a single game yet this season. And once again, lads, we have breezed our Champions League group. We have not lost a single game in the group stage of the Champions League yet in this rebuild, and we will play Bayer Leverkusen in the round of 16, so a much harder tie in the second round. Look at the starting 11, lads. We have now got a 96 rated striker in Nelson Wiper and a 95 rated winger in Amad Diallo. Our entire midfield three are now over 90 rated, and our back line is looking incredible as well. It is no surprise we're doing as well as we are. So we're arrived at the end of the season, lads, and as if there was any doubt, we won the Premier League comfortably, finishing 14 points clear of second place Spurs, and it's looking like my decision to stick with the starting 11 has massively paid off. Now, the FA Cup was won by Brighton, lads, ending our 2-year skit, and we were knocked out very early, you know, in round 5 by Manchester City 2-1. And lads, we have made the Champions League final with Sunderland. We beat Bayer Leverkusen 7-3 over 2 legs. We thumped PSG 6-0 over 2 legs, getting revenge for them knocking us out last season. And honestly, look at this, lads. We played Newcastle United in the semi-finals of the Champions League, a Tyne weird derby in a Champions League semi-final. Can you imagine the bragging rights on that? And we beat them 7-2 as well over 2 legs, and we will play AC Milan in the Champions League final. This is how the starting 11 is looking, lads, and just look at the striker position. Nelson Wiper is 97 rated. He is the highest rated player we have ever had on one of these rebuilds. Diallo's 95 as well. Vermeeren's ended up getting to 92. That team, lads, that is a frighteningly good team, and I cannot wait to use that front three. Our standout player this season was once again the world's best player, Nelson Wiper. He got 36 goals and 2 assists in 57 games. Amad Diallo had an outstanding season, might I add, getting 32 goals and 21 assists. Jack Clark had another great season, 23 and 7. Now, all that's left to do, lads, is play AC Milan at Old Trafford for the Champions League trophy. So it is time, lads. It is AC Milan versus Sunderland. Who will win the Champions League? And I'm hoping it's me. Go on, Diallo. First touch for Diallo. Oh my. Oh, lad, he's good. Lad, he's good. Oh my. Diallo. No way. Oh, it's saved. Oh my God, imagine. Great start though. We should be winning, lads. But AC Milan's team is incredible. They've got Rafa Leo, Destiny Udogie, and they're on the attack. And Barrios. Unbelievable. Gutierrez, he's got pace. They're coming forward again. A lot of space to get into. Up to Vermeeren, sorry. Barrios. Back to Vermeeren. Diallo's free. Chance this. Down to the byline. Cut across Clark. 1-0. What a start. Oh my God. It's the player who's been with Sunderland since day one. The fan favourite, Jack Clark, has put us 1-0 up in this Champions League final, and we have started this game on absolute fire. Diallo burns Tomori, puts it across the box, and Clark, he ain't going to miss on the edge of the 6-yard box, a player of his quality. And he just places it right into the side netting. We'll get another here, you know, lads. Dinked in. Could be 2-0. It's 2-0. Oh my God. It's 25 on the clock, lads. And it's 2-0 to Sunderland. Diallo is just ripping Milan to shreds. And it's another player from season 1, the academy graduate, Dan Neil, who's put us 2-0 up. Sunderland fans, you'll be loving this if you're watching. Put back from Diallo. Put all across the box, and Dan Neil, the Sunderland lad through and through, the club captain, puts the ball past Magnan, and we're 2-0 up inside 25 minutes. Barrios. Lads. Oh my God, this team is amazing. Diallo makes it 3-0. That's 3 Sunderland fan favourites in real life who've scored in the final. Diallo, edge of the box, 95 rated. He just plants it past Magnan, who does actually get an answer to it. I have never had a Champions League final like this. We're 30 minutes in and we're winning 3-0.
Few moments later.
Oh, Ramos has got a chance. And they've got one back. Oh. Is it going to be a consolation or the start of a comeback for Milan? Giancarlo Ramos makes it 3-1. Penalty area. It's a poor lunge, that, really, from Scalvini. And he just plants it past the goalkeeper. And that's half-time, boys. We're winning 3-1. We've been excellent. Pretty disappointed to concede such a soft goal to Ramos, but what a start to this game it's been for Sunderland. And we just need, lads, to not concede twice within the Champions League. But I'm hungry for more goals. This team just plays so well. Shit. Good save from Beck. Unbelievable save at a very key moment. You know, if that goes in, there's 20 minutes left to play. Ramos is in again. This is a big moment. He scored. Oh my God. It's 3-2. Lads, we've gone from cruising. We might end up being hanging on here. There's 10 minutes of this final left. Ramos makes it 3-2. He does so well to get past Ramos, and he just plants it right in the corner. And we've got to hold on for 10 more minutes, lads. Oh no. Ramos. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, lads. Blow the whistle, please, ref. Oh, and that's it, lads. We've won the Champions League with Sunderland. But, oh my God, were that nervy at the end then. AC Milan made a major comeback, scored 2 goals, and we just about managed to hold on at the end. And the beauty of that final is it's 3 Sunderland fan favourites who've scored the goals. Dan Neil, Jack Clark, and Amad Diallo. And I think Sunderland fans will really, really enjoy seeing an academy graduate in Dan Neil lift the Champions League trophy. So all that's left to do is watch Dan Neil, a Sunderland academy graduate, lift the Champions League trophy, and Sunderland are the champions of Europe and the best team in the world. So thank you very much for watching the video, boys. Please make sure if you enjoyed it, you leave a like on the video to help it get more engagement, and subscribe to the channel as we are getting so close now to 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you let me know in the comment section down below any teams you want to see rebuilt in the future, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.